You're out with friends, the bill comes, and someone inevitably says, "Just Venmo me." Sound familiar? It's become the default for splitting costs, paying back buddies, and even settling small debts. But here's the thing, just because it's easy doesn't mean it's always straightforward. We've all seen those awkward moments, the slightly passive-aggressive payment requests, or the head-scratching transaction descriptions. So, how do we navigate this digital money minefield without stepping on toes or looking like a complete Venmo noob? That's exactly what we're diving into today, the unwritten rules, the unspoken expectations, and the downright essential do's and don'ts of Venmo etiquette. Because while Venmo has simplified our financial lives in countless ways, it's also introduced a whole new set of social graces we need to master. Think about it. In the past, if you owed someone a few bucks, you'd pull out cash, or maybe write a check. There was a physical exchange, a clear understanding. Now, it's all digital, instant, and often, public. This shift has created a unique blend of convenience and potential for miscommunication. We're going to break down everything from the subtle art of the payment request to the crucial considerations of privacy, and even touch on those tricky situations where Venmo might not be the best option. So, buckle up, because by the end of this, you'll be a Venmo virtuoso, a master of money transfers, and someone whose friends will always be happy to just Venmo. Let's start with the absolute golden rule of Venmo, the foundational principle upon which all other etiquette guidelines are built: be prompt. If someone pays for your share of dinner, a concert ticket, or even just your coffee, don't make them chase you down. As soon as you possibly can, open that app and send the money. Ideally, this means doing it right then and there, at the restaurant, at the end of the event, or as soon as you get a moment. Procrastination here isn't just rude, it puts your friend in the awkward position of potentially having to remind you, which no one enjoys. Think of it this way, if they paid cash for you, you wouldn't tell them you'd get them back sometime next week, would you? The same applies to Venmo. A good rule of thumb is to aim for within an hour or two, or at the very least, within the same day. If for some reason you absolutely can't pay immediately, a quick text saying "got it. We'll send you the Venmo as soon as I get home / to Wi-Fi / etc. goes a long way. Now, let's talk about the flip side, requesting money. This is where things can get a little dicey. While it's perfectly acceptable to request money you're owed, the timing and tone are crucial. Don't send a request the moment someone's last bite of food touches their plate. Give them a little breathing room. If it's a casual outing, a request later that evening or the next morning is usually more appropriate. For larger sums or more formal arrangements, a prompt request is often expected. When you do send a request, be clear and concise in your description. Dinner last night is usually sufficient, but if it was a particularly complex split or involved multiple people, a slightly more detailed note can prevent confusion. For example, your share of the Airbnb for the weekend trip leaves no room for doubt. Avoid overly vague descriptions like money or for you. These can be confusing and even a little suspicious. And here's a big one, don't passive-aggressively request money. This means no snarky comments in the description, no requests that imply the person is forgetful or delinquent. Remember that $20 you owe me from 2 weeks ago is a definite no-go. Keep it neutral, factual, and polite. If someone genuinely forgets, a gentle text reminder is always preferable to a public Venmo request that could embarrass them. This leads us to the critical consideration of privacy. Venmo, by default, makes transactions public. This means anyone on your Venmo feed can see who you're paying and what for. While some people don't mind this, it's important to be mindful of others' comfort levels. Always set your transactions to private unless there's a specific reason to make them public, like splitting a group gift that everyone knows about. There's an option for friends as well, which can be a good middle ground if you want your close circle to see, but not the entire Venmo universe. Think about it, you wouldn't usually announce to the world every time you pay for a doctor's appointment or send money to a family member. Your Venmo transactions should be treated with the same discretion. It's a simple toggle, but it makes a huge difference in respecting others' privacy. Another crucial do is to be specific when you're splitting an expense. Don't just send a request for an arbitrary amount. If you're splitting a $100 dinner bill evenly among 4 people, request $25. If someone had an extra drink or an expensive appetizer, adjust their share accordingly. The goal is fairness and clarity. If you're unsure about the exact amount, a quick message to the group chat saying, "Hey, the bill was $X, so it's $Y each, sound good?" can prevent any awkward back and forths. Now, let's delve into some common don'ts that can really sour the Venmo experience. Don't use Venmo for large or highly sensitive transactions. While Venmo is fantastic for everyday splitting, it's generally not recommended for significant sums of money, like rent payments, unless explicitly agreed upon by both parties and the landlord allows it, or business transactions that require detailed records and receipts. For these, traditional bank transfers, checks, or dedicated business payment platforms are usually more appropriate and offer better protection. Venmo is primarily designed for peer-to-peer payments, not as a substitute for a full-fledged banking system. Don't nickel and dime with Venmo. While it's great for splitting a $10 coffee bill among 2 people, sending a request for 50 cents for that extra packet of sugar you shared can come across as petty. There's a line between being fair and being overly fastidious. For very small amounts, sometimes it's better to just let it go or offer to get the next round. Good friendships are worth more than a few cents. Don't use Venmo for things that are clearly gifts. If you're buying someone a birthday present, send them a present, not a Venmo request for half of your gift. Gifts are meant to be given freely, without expectation of repayment. Similarly, if you're treating someone, don't then Venmo them for their share. That defeats the purpose of the treat. Don't use Venmo as a substitute for awkward conversations. If there's a deeper issue about money with a friend or family member, a Venmo request isn't going to solve it. For example, if someone consistently forgets to pay you back, or always conveniently doesn't have cash, a direct conversation about their financial habits might be more productive than a string of passive-aggressive Venmo requests. Venmo is a tool for transactions, not a therapist for financial grievances. With that said, thanks for watching and until next time.